Welcome to Desert Living, where we connect you with everything that makes the Coachella Valley a wonderful place to live. Desert Living starts now. Here's Brian Gallo.
I'm here at Walsh Urology in Rancho Mirage, joined by PA Robert Baker to talk about some very important stuff. So, as we always tell you, men listen up, women listen up as well. How are you?
Good.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. So we're talking about some important stuff today. I'm going to lead with this. Can you please explain what is a prostate and how does it change as far as men and their age goes?
Okay, so the prostate gland, sometimes referred to as part of the male sexual apparatus, basically secretes a protease enzyme. That's function is to kind of facilitate the passage and the survival of sperm. It's basically alkaline in nature, and it will kind of buffer the sperm once it's ejaculated into the vagina, which is basically acidic to help it to survive. So the beginning of an ejaculation, you'll have a lot of both sperm and prostatic fluid, okay? And that kind of helps the sperm to, as I mentioned, to survive in terms of accomplishing coupling or impregnation. Right? So some would say, well, what else does it do? Well, not very much, okay? By virtue of the name, prostate kind of means sentinel, so would you say it's guarding the entrance or the exit from the bladder? That's one of the functions also, and that's where we get into the most problems, whether it be through enlargement of the gland, kind of a garden variety, what we call BPH, or prostate cancer, which is a totally other process, and that's not what we're really talking about right now. We're just talking about the prostate itself.
Okay, so speaking of problems with the prostate, for those of us that don't know, what would be an indicator that we might have a prostate condition?
Well, if we're talking about just, again, that kind of enlargement as we age, and it grows as we age. Some say it'll get as big as your brain if you live long enough, but
is that true?
I haven't seen one quite that big, but yeah. So, you know, if we think about it, where it's positioned anatomically, as I say, it's right at the bottom of the bladder, so this is the prostatic urethra. So if this is enlarging, obviously if this is a holding vesicle, it's going to obstruct the flow of urine down. So that's probably the basic problem that we start to see. So we start to have issues in terms of flow, slow urine streams. Sometimes people will complain, my stream is just not what it was when I was 18. Well, you're probably not 18 either anymore, but that's usually how it usually starts. Or if you're not emptying well because the bladder is working harder to empty, okay, for you to expel the urine, then you may go more frequently because just by mere fact the bladder will fill up faster, you'll go more frequently just because of volume.
Okay.
So those are some kind of the basic things that people will talk about. You can either have a restricted flow situation or you can have a volume issue, which will give you more of the, as I mentioned, the urgency frequency because of just volume in itself.
So some of these things, as men, we already know. Yeah. It's nice to be reminded, though. Okay. Yeah. Now, so I noticed that you mentioned BPH. I saw that you gestured up there. Tell me, what is the difference between BPH and actual prostate cancer?
Okay, so BPH is an enlargement of the cells of the prostate per se, not an uncontrolled neoplastic prostate process that goes on in cancer. And one of the biggest things about BPH is that generally BPH is in the periurethral area here, so you get obstructive symptoms a lot earlier, where prostate cancer usually starts out in the periphery of the gland. So a lot of times obstructive voiding symptoms are the last things that one would encounter. So this is why a lot of people will say, well, how can I have prostate cancer if I don't have any issues urinating? And that's the reason anatomically where one begins and one is makes a greater impact. Okay,
all right, very insightful. I really appreciate your time. Robert P.A. Baker here at Walsh Urology. You can find them here in Rancho Mirage. You'll find them online at walshurology.com. Again, big thanks to you, and we'll see you after the break.